Mao Zedong. A Study of Physical Education. Part 2. Extracted from Hsin Ching-nein, April 1917. 5. The reasons for disliking exercise. Exercise is the most important part of physical education. Nowadays students generally dislike exercise. There are 4 reasons for this. 1. They do not have self-awareness. If a thing is to be put into practice, one must first take pleasure in it. One must understand in detail the whys and the wherefores. To know in detail the whys and the wherefores is self-awareness. People generally do not know the interrelation between exercise and themselves, or they may know it in general terms but not intimately. 2. They cannot change their long-established habits. Our country has always stressed literary accomplishment. People blush to wear short clothes. The mode of dress of the swordsman of King Wen of Chao, according to a chapter of the Taoist classic Chuang-Tzu. Hence there is the common saying, a good man does not become a soldier. 3. Exercise has not been propagated forcefully. 4. Students feel that exercise is shameful. According to my humble observation, this is really their major reason for disliking exercise. Flowing garments, a slow gait, a grave, calm gaze, these constitute a fine deportment, respected by society. Why should one suddenly extend an arm or expose a leg, stretch, and bend down? Is this not strange? Hence there are those who know well that their body needs exercise and, moreover, wish very much to do so, but they cannot. There are those who can exercise only with a group, not by themselves, and those who can exercise in privacy but not in public. In short, all this is due to feelings of shame. All 4 of these are reasons for disliking exercise. The first and the fourth are subjective, and changing them depends on ourselves. The second and third are objective, and changing them depends on others. What the superior man seeks is in himself, analects, that which depends on others is of lesser importance. 6. The methods of exercise should be few. Hsin Wencheng washed his feet before going to bed and walked 1,000 steps after meals, benefiting greatly from this method. There was an 80-year-old man who was still healthy. On being asked how he maintained his health, he replied, "I don't eat hearty meals, that's all." Nowadays the methods of exercise are very diverse, more than I can count. But although there may be several score or even several hundred, a branch in the forest is sufficient for the bird to lodge in, and if it drinks at the river it does not drink more than what its stomach can hold. From Chuang-Tzu. We have only this body and only these senses, bones, viscera, and veins. Even though there are several hundred methods of exercise, all of them are aimed at improving the circulation of the blood. If one method can accomplish this, the result of 100 methods is the same as that of one. Therefore the other 99 methods can be dispensed with. Our eyes can see only one thing at a time, our ears can hear only one sound at a time. From Sun Tzu, a Confucian realist. To employ 100 different methods to train the muscles and the bones only disturbs them. 7. The points to which we must pay attention when we exercise. We should have perseverance in all things. Exercise is no exception. Suppose there are 2 men who exercise. One practices and then stops, the other is unremitting in his practice. There will certainly be a difference in the results. First of all, perseverance in exercise creates interest. In general, that which is at rest cannot set itself in motion, there must be something to move it. And this something can only be interest. Interest arises from unremitting daily exercise. The best way is to exercise twice a day on getting up and before going to bed in the nude. The next best way is to wear light clothes. Too much clothing impedes movement. If one does this daily, the idea of exercise is continually present and never interrupted. Today's exercise is a continuation of yesterday's exercise and thus leads to tomorrow's exercise. The individual exercise periods need not be long, 30 minutes are sufficient. In this way, a certain interest will naturally arise. Secondly, Perseverance in exercise can create pleasure. Exercise over a long time can produce great results and give rise to a feeling of personal value. As a result, we will be able to study with joy, and every day will see some progress in our virtue. Our heart is filled with boundless joy because we have persevered and obtained a result. Pleasure and interest are distinct. Interest is the origin of exercise, and pleasure its consequence. Interest arises from the action, and pleasure from the result. The two are naturally different. Perseverance without concentration of mind can hardly produce results. If we look at flowers from a galloping horse, even though we may look daily, it is like not having seen them at all. If one person's heart follows a swan in the sky, he cannot compete with the person who has meanwhile been studying carefully. Hence one should concentrate all one's effort on exercise. During exercise, the mind should be on the exercise. Idle and confused thoughts should all be put aside. The superior man's deportment is cultivated and agreeable, but one cannot say this about exercise. Exercise should be savage and rude. To be able to leap on horseback and to shoot at the same time, to go from battle to battle, to shake the mountains by one's cries, and the colors of the sky by one's roars of anger, to have the strength to uproot mountains like Shangyu and the audacity to pierce the mark like Yu Qi, all this is savage and rude and has nothing to do with delicacy. In order to progress in exercise, one must be savage. If one is savage, one will have great vigor and strong muscles and bones. The method of exercise should be rude, then one can apply oneself seriously and it will be easy to exercise. These two things are especially important for beginners. There are three things to which we must pay attention in exercise: 1. Perseverance, 2. Concentration of all our strength, and 3. That it be savage and rude. There are many other things that require attention. Here I have merely indicated the most important ones.